Hi, welcome to another episode of Gin and Data by Qbase. We're here at the beautiful Gin Alley Bar in Stockton Heath. If you ever get a chance to visit, come along. It's beautiful in here. Today we're going to be joined by Ed Ryan and Adam Venn, who basically look after data for Nisbets and have been pivotal to their growth over the last few years. And we're also really pleased to welcome Jack Harold from Qbase, who's one of our senior developers. He's going to be telling us how we handle the data for Nisbets to help them grow and taking us through and serving up two gins, both local to here. One is the Worsley Gin, North Manchester, and one is the Three Pugs Gin. So we're going to have a tasting session with Jack and talk about all things data. Hope you enjoy it. Hi, I'm Neil Martin from Qbase, and this is Gin and Data. We're joined by Adam and Ed from Nisbets, and Jack is our resident gin connoisseur for today. He's going to be taking us through our gin tasting, and he's also going to talk to us about data and how Adam and Ed use Jack in terms of development and making the most of their data. That's what we're going to be talking about. Thanks very much for joining us both, and Jack as well. We've not caught up for a while. There's been a lot going on, so do you want to start with kind of the updates from your side? Because there's quite a bit going on, isn't there?
Yeah, so we've had quite a lot of changes over the last, I would say, year or so.
Yeah.
A lot of changes within our kind of organisation. I guess one of the biggest changes is around our customers.
Yeah.
So previously I would say that we kind of held our customers in high regard, but now they're our key sort of focal point. So it's all about the customer. It's about the information we can gain and gather on our customer, and then how we can kind of really use that data.
Yeah, we're also quite a traditional business, and we're really hitting into the digital transformation that we seem to be seeing everywhere. It's all about the web now, it's all about
pretty
digital.
typical, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's all about everything we can do there, but we also want to keep our human touch, and we also want to stay omni-channel and keep serving on the other channels as well.
Oh, nice. Well, look, it is Gin and Data. We've invited you here and Jack here because he's got a lot of experience in gins. We've got something nice for us to try, haven't you? Something quite local.
Yeah, so this is the Worsley Gin. Just pass them down. So this is a gin that's distilled in Worsley on the outskirts of Manchester. So nice and local to where we are today in Stockton Heath. It's a really nice London dry gin. It's really smooth. And the basil and the strawberry of the perfect serve really bring out the botanicals in the gin. So
We'll give it a whirl then.
Yeah.
Cheers.
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 You really taste you can taste the garnish and
You can. Yeah, it's really
just
strong.
a really smooth gin.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Not
lovely.
too harsh.
Yeah, great.
Very nice.
I
Well,
guess
you
back
guys
to
have,
data.
like I said, we've not caught up for a little bit, but you've had kind of a change of management as well in that time. Klaus has come in and really, springboarded the growth of the business. What's kind of driving that?
So it's all around how we treat the customer and put the customer first. We already mentioned it just then. It's being as personalised to that customer as possible, not just through marketing, but for our sales teams and through everything we do. Rather than thinking about the bottom line and the numbers and the profit and all that sort of stuff, we've changed it into thinking about our customer experience and our customer journey, and bringing that through and dealing with that helps us to understand and almost embody the customer and brings more passion through in what we do.
That's really refreshing to hear, isn't it? Because I think a lot of people miss that kind of one-to-one touch with customers. If you treat a customer right, you deliver on time, your customer service is there, then all of that builds kind of a loyalty. They want to come back to you because they enjoy the experience. Is that kind of the aim for you guys?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think that historically we were a mail order business-to-business company. We shifted over the last few years. Obviously the web took off and that became quite a big interesting kind of area. And then we started our retail presence. So actually, as we're sort of saying, we're now an omni-channel business, and therefore we can't just keep treating our customers in silos. So some customers want to interact with us on the phone, some will want to interact in retail, some of them want to interact across the board. And some need that, personal touch where we've got someone going out and talking to them. So we need to make sure we get that balance and that blend right of talking to the customers in the right way, which is really what we're now trying to sort of do.
And are you changing your structure in any way to cater for the client a bit more, or is it just more process and the way you use data and attach to a customer?
I think we're definitely changing our approach to our customers, and we're understanding them, at a much more granular level, and therefore that allows us to talk to our customers in a different way. We used to have a kind of one size fits all, which is kind of great as you're developing, but when you get to sort of the size we are now, you really have to sort of drill in and really get to the needs of the customer, and therefore you can't treat them all as one pot, but you do have to segment them, you have to break them out, and you have to understand what makes them tick, which is kind of fundamentally what we're doing.
As I said earlier, it's all about getting the passion within the business and internally trying to get us to be advocates. If we're advocates for the customers, then actually everyone starts doing everything for the customer naturally, and you don't even have to really try, to be honest, because it becomes a natural part of what we do.
And does that mean,
sorry, go on.
Does that mean that you need sort of some more, more sources of data? So not just looking at their sales necessarily, but bringing into their demographic, that sort of.
Yeah, and I think actually that's a really key point. Is historically we would have just looked at them from a transactional point of view. If they put their hand up, if they purchased, if they bought from us. Now it's a lot more about kind of filling out what that customer looks like. So what sort of attribute data do we have? Do we know the size of the business, the size of organisation? Do we know who's ordering within that business? What's their roles, their responsibilities? Because if you take a relatively large hotel, there could be 3 or 4 people that will buy from our business, but they'll all have specific buying needs.
Different niches.
Absolutely. And actually talking about sort of new and upcoming sort of businesses, bars like this have a very different take on what a traditional bar and pub would have. Therefore, there are specific needs. So you can't, whilst they both sell alcohol, they have different needs.
And from a data point of view, we need everything. We need as much data as we can get our hands on, because we want to understand the behavior of our customer. We need to understand exactly what makes them tick across all of our channels, across all of our categories, across every bit of the customer life cycle and their journey, so that we can hit them with the right message at the right time and make it personalized for them.
And you've got quite a lot happening in that space though, haven't you? Because now you're over 30 retail outlets, you've got a new web presence and digital kind of strategy, including apps and things like that. I guess from your point of view, the management from a data perspective is pretty daunting in some ways from where you were a few years ago to now. And that's a big shift. How do you manage that in the new world? What does that look like for you?
Well, I think actually it's kind of working with partners such as yourself, because we, as Ed said, we want to try and pull as much relevant specific data that we can get hold of. But actually we need to know how to use that data and how to interrogate it, and also how to kind of structure it within our system. So we have a variety of different sources coming from a variety of different places, and we need to be able to pull that into our data system, if you like, and then be able to use that. And that's where collaborating with guys like yourself is really useful, because you'll have seen some of this in your own business and own experiences that allows us to then really utilise it.
And I guess that's where you come in, isn't it, Jack, on that side, where you guys are collecting that data, you've got that customer relationship, comes over to Qbase or partners like us, and then you kind of step in. What do you do with that at that point then?
So we take any data source that you provide to us, whether that be an API, whether that be a flat file, it could be a database backup, if like your CRM or your customer platform, and then we take each of those individual sources and we compile them all together into like a single customer view. And soon to be a QDP, which is basically bringing in everything, not just your customer data, but like sensor data. You've got your weather data, maybe if you're seasonal, all that kind of data, unstructured data, and it allows you to hold that in one place and interrogate everything together as one group rather than separate different sources.
So it's realising the value with the QDP right through the supply chain, isn't it? You've got not just customer data, but supply chain data, maybe stock control, website imagery and things like that, all controlled through that kind of QDP proposition, and you're managing that to merge that together to make it then usable. Is that about fair to say?
And it's not just about the inputs either. You get, like you mentioned, stock control. You've got your outputs as well, so you can have an integration with maybe one of the sellers that you buy from, in bulk, and you could have a reorder system so that if you're running low on stock in a certain part of the country, either you move it around within the country and you move it from depot to depot, or you actually need to buy some more stock in, and it gives you that sort of real-time ability to integrate with other companies.
And I guess it also enhances that customer element as well, doesn't it? If you can order, and I guess like the Amazon Prime deal where you can order and get it delivered the next day, that's a major customer win as well, isn't it? Satisfaction levels must go up quite heavily if you can do that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's where we've kind of positioned ourselves historically, is that was one of our kind of USPs, which was the next day delivery, which we've consistently done. And like you say, it's then adding in the additional kind of hooks, if you like, or the additional enticements for the customer to then continue reusing us, basically.
Is it a bit of a headache managing those kind of new applications and things like that for you then, or is it made easier now you're in this new world using data more?
Well, I guess because we've got experience in doing it and working again with partners such as yourself, it does make it slightly easier. But when you get kind of brand new data sets in, or if you get completely brand new businesses in, because as we've expanded across the countries and globally, and we take on either new businesses or we onboard whole new areas. You have to kind of restructure what that data looks like, and with time you start to establish a pattern. So we know we can profile our data, put it into a certain system, and then kind of have it kind of loaded in. So it does get quicker, it gets easier to do, but there's always different nuances with customer data.
Yeah. Well, look, I think I'm really enjoying this conversation. Do you want to try another gin at this point, and
sure.
we can then talk about a little bit more. Cheers.
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 I hope you enjoyed the latest edition of Gin and Data by Qbase. A big thanks go to Danielle and Jamie for letting us use Gin and Alley in Stockton Heath. If you do get a chance, it's a really nice place, good atmosphere, and I'm sure you'll get a nice gin here as well. A big thanks to Adam and Ed as well, telling us all about how they use data to help Nisbets grow. A big thanks also to Jack and for his contribution today and telling us all about how he handles data on behalf of Nisbets and for his great tasting gin. If you've liked the video, please do like, share and subscribe, and for now we'll see you in the next episode of Gin and Data by Qbase.